dia.
Bom dia.
Tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
Obrigado. Para Esmorias, Virginio from Jinsul. Pastéis de nata, this is my Portuguese. That's it. So, my name is Stefan. Okay, I'm really happy to be in Portugal. Okay, I really love Portugal. I've got all my Portuguese friends. I can say either one who loves Portugal. Really happy to be with you. Thank you really much for coming because it's quite early in the morning. And so today is going to be a training about 45 minutes. We are going to get into, I'm going to show you what is Monin today, and after we'll move on the trends about products. So actually, what is Monin today? Monin today, we have five factories different all around the world. I mean, we have 2 in France, we have 2 in Asia, Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and after we have Shanghai, and we have 1 in Clearwater in US. Okay, we opened Malaysia. I mean, it was because we found out that from Bourges it took 1 month for a bottle to get to Asia. So that's the reason why, to be closer to our market, we opened Malaysia. What we say is we have 150 flavors and we are in 150 countries. Why we have 150 flavors? It's really to bring some tools to the barista or the bartender. What we normally say, it's like barista or bartender are like painter, and we bring them all the color for the barista or the bartender to design the picture depending on what the customer wants to drink. Because the customer, when he gets into a coffee shop or when he gets into a bar, he doesn't really need the same drinks, depend on the time of the day. For example, in the morning, he wants a nice coffee, nice latte. After, in the afternoon, he wants something refreshing, like for example, iced tea, lemonade, and maybe in the evening, he prefers something with alcohol, okay? So for this, I mean, we are here to enhance all the creativity of the professional. Okay, for this, you have people like me. What I say, it's explain to the customer how to easily use our product, okay? So like me, we are 20 all around the world, but in each country, you have what we call brand ambassador, like Claudio, Jorge, they are on the field, they speak with the Portuguese people, they know what the Portuguese people taste is like. I mean, do Portuguese people prefer strawberry, coconut, pastéis de nata, okay? So depending on this, they can design kind of menu, depending on what the final customer wants, okay? So last year we sold 70 million bottles, and we found out that 8 million of drinks every day are made with Monin, okay? Made with Monin, it can be latte, I mean flavor coffee. It can be mocktail, or we'll see after that we call them spirit-free cocktail. It's a new trend, okay? So cocktail without alcohol, and after it could be cocktail with alcohol, for example, like gin soul, or this kind of alcohol, okay? And about the figure, we did 75% on the export. That means France is only 25. To let you know, France is the only country where people drink syrup and water. That's it, okay? When you're kids, you come back from school, your mother gives you mint or grenadine or strawberry syrup with water, okay? This is in our culture. Okay, so Monin was created a little bit more than 100 years ago by Georges Monin, that you have on the left. Georges Monin was actually selling wine. After, he started to produce liquor. That's the reason why we still have a liquor range. And later, he moved into the syrup production. Then his son, Paul Monin, took over the company. And after, we have Olivier Monin, who took over the company in 1992. Okay? And Olivier Monin really boosted on the export. When he took the company, he was working in a bank in the US. And after he took the company, we were only export to 3 countries. Now we are 150 countries. Okay, so we are actually now the brand of choice for bartender and barista. And as I was saying, we have 150 countries, 150 flavors. If you see the frame, I mean, the story started in 1912. Then Paul Monin took over in 1945, and after we opened the factory in US and Malaysia, and now in 2017 we reopened Bourges, because Bourges, actually the old factory was in the middle of the city, small city in Bourges. Actually you have Paris in France, 200 kilometers you have Bourges. Bourges is in the middle of France, in the middle of nowhere. Okay, but we have a nice field to grow some fruit, and that's the reason why. And as Georges Monin was native from Bourges, that's the reason why he opened in Bourges. Okay. Okay, so we are here to bring products to passionate people. Just for them to enhance their creativity. Okay, if they want something more exotic, we have yuzu, passion fruit. If they want something more standard, we have like strawberry, raspberry, some confidence flavor that we see. But the most important, I would say, is to bring enjoyment, to the professional because they like to do their drinks, but also to the final customer because he's here to enjoy. And because the most important, I would say, it's the bartender has to love to do his drink, but thinking to the final customer. Because if he wants if he's doing a cocktail for his own, he's going to put his taste, his flavor, and after he's going to be proud, this is my cocktail. But what we have to think is bartender should be flexible, okay? Depending on, because I was a bartender before, and I was, for the same drinks, I was not using the same recipe for a man or for a lady, okay? In terms of alcohol, in terms of spice, okay? In terms of the mood of the customer, okay? Because if the customer comes into your bar and he's like this, maybe he had a bad day. So, you really have to feel what he's feeling and to make the really ultimate drink for him. Okay. Up. So in terms of so this we see, and after we have eight studio, Monin studio around the world, but also we have 85 studio like you have in Galafera Suarez, where you can go, and after the brand ambassador is going to design the menu depending on the season, depending on the occasion, depending on what tools and what products you already have and what he can bring to you. Okay. Okay, speaking about the range, the main one that we know actually are the syrup. Okay, so we try to release 6 new flavors every year. Okay, it's like in fashion, you have summer collection and you have winter collection. The last product that we launched here, I'm going to show you on the next slide. Okay, so we have actually flavor that can go into coffee and flavor that can go into cocktail, but our job is to take one from the coffee to move it into cocktail. Okay, for example, we launched some flavor for what we call community. So it can be bartender community, it can be barista community. For example, 4 years ago we launched Falernum. What is Falernum? Falernum actually, it's a combination of different spices. Okay, so one thing, everything I show you here, I won't be able to make you taste, but you are more than welcome to come to the booth in the afternoon. Okay. So Falernum actually, it's at the base it was a liquor, and it was used to make tiki cocktail. Tiki cocktail, it's a cocktail that are coming from Polynesia, okay, Polynesia culture, okay. Tiki was from Maori culture. Tiki was the first man on the earth. For us, we have Adam and Eve, okay, men and women, okay. For them, they have Tiki. Tiki was half man, half god, okay, really strong. That's the reason why his head is half the size of his body, okay. But actually, it's 2 bartenders in Hollywood, okay, Trader Vic and Don Beachcomber, who really enhanced this popularity on exotic cocktail. So it was based on 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 different rum, exotic juice, and Falernum. Falernum was a liquor, a combination of spice, and bartenders now start to make their own Falernum, but one day they ask us, can you do a regular recipe? Because it's, for us, it's much more stable. We know the taste of the syrup, and it will be the same, from the first day I open the bottle until I finish the bottle. Okay, so it's a combination. We did it with some bartenders, especially brand ambassador from Greece. And so it's a combination of lime, almond, cloves, vanilla, and ginger. Okay, so this is actually, I would say, typical syrup to do tiki. After starting to work with it, we found out that you can use as a spice sugar, because most of the time you have what we call the 3S in a cocktail. You have sweet, sour, strong. Strong is the alcohol, so it will be rum. Sour, it's what we bring by lemon, lime, sweet and sour. Sourness is actually what makes your cocktail fresh. When you want to make it fresh, like a hint, you put lemon. But to balance the acidity of the lemon, you need to put sugar. So it could be sugar, it can be syrup, or it can be honey. So by using falernum, you bring the sugar level that you need, but also you bring all the spice flavor. Okay, so you can twist, I mean, your classical cocktail. And after we found out that it can work also in latte. Okay, so for example, if you want to do Hawaiian latte, never call it falernum latte because people won't understand, even me. Enfin, me because I know. But what we say, it's when you make a menu for a bar or a coffee shop, for example, on the board, make it simple. For example, if you do caramel latte, you call it caramel latte. Okay. The only exception that we have, actually, it's we have a coffee shop chain in Poland. They buy salty caramel syrup, so they wrote salty caramel latte. They didn't sell one, so they changed French caramel latte. They sold a lot because the consumer was thinking, oh, they put salt in my latte, I don't want it. Okay, so try to make it simple, but sometimes in France we have the trouble with cucumber. If you put cucumber, I mean, thanks to Hendrix now, but if we put cucumber something, I mean, people, oh, cucumber is to eat, it's not to drink. Okay. So actually, that was for falernum. We have the same thing like tonka. A barista community asked us to launch tonka. Tonka, it's a really nice flavor, but it's for ice latte. And after, by reading some books, we found out that tonka was a bean, I mean, used into vermouth production. So now, when you have a cocktail that you use vermouth, Negroni, Americano, you can twist it with tonka bean syrup. Okay, so after we have the range Le Fruit de Monin. Okay, which is a minimum of 51% of fruit, the rest is sugar. Actually, we'll see after that we are using sucrose, which is a natural sugar. Why sugar? Because, I mean, sugar is a flavor enhancer, and it's a natural preservative. So we guarantee, once you open the bottle, 5 weeks, room temperature. You don't need to put it in the fridge. Don't put coconut and banana in the fridge, because banana can get brown, and coconut, as you have natural coconut oil, it will get hard, okay? So don't put those two in the fridge. And the last baby of the range is pear, but we'll see it on the next slide. Easy to realize cocktail, mocktail, I mean latte, lemonade, and also topping on ice cream, pancake, all this kind of thing. After we have the sauce range that also we can use in Coke coffee beverage and also in topping on pancake and ice cream. Frappé, actually it's a powder, it's like a milk powder flavor with vanilla. It's to bring the texture into to do milkshake frappé. We have vanilla, coffee, chocolate, yogurt, and non-dairy. L'artiste, this is typical for barista. It's actually to design on the cappuccino latte because what we found out with the Sky people, it's you need between 80 to 100 liters to steam to be able to do Rosetta or art on this. So to make it easy for the barista, once you train, you just design after a nice design with the artist. I invite you to go on the internet and to see a really nice video with the artist. And after we have liquor, because this is much more traditional. Okay, so we are really, I mean, clear on the quality. Choice, this is a choice how to work with the product. Convenient, it's like convenient product, it's to help the professional, okay? So, for example, l'artiste. For example, also, we have lemonade base, okay? This is easy to do lemonade. It's a mix of lemon juice from Sicily, a little bit of sugar, and water. This, you use it, and after you flavor it with any kind of flavor that you wish, passion fruit, pink grapefruit, cucumber. And after we have a tea range, which is lemon tea, raspberry, and peach tea. But this, if you come to the booth, you will see them. Also, you can customize. And creativity, this is actually, in terms of flavor, we have lemongrass, we have ginger, we have yuzu, we have popcorn that you can use, for example, in latte, hot chocolate, but also you can flavor because it's really trendy, like old-fashioned with bourbon, because bourbon can combine well with popcorn. And after last year, we launched a veggie range, which is carrot and beetroot. Okay, because it's really, really trendy. I mean, people want to drink some fruit. Okay, so it could be like smoothie, but also it can be also like Moscow or dark and stormy flavor with this kind of veggie flavor. Okay. So now, I mean, the most important I would say is the product. So product is we are using pure sugar, which is sucrose. NAFNAC means no artificial flavoring and no artificial coloring. We are really on a natural size, and also we try to source on the best place. Like for example, vanilla is coming from Madagascar. When you see pink grapefruit, it's coming from Israel and Florida. Okay, because depending on the place the fruit is coming, you don't have the same flavor, taste profile. Speaking about the juice which are in the syrup, you need a minimum of 10% of juice in the bottle to have the right to design the flavor. So for example, this is acerola, I will explain you after. Acerola, I need 10% of acerola juice to be able to design the flavor of acerola in a bottle. For example, if you take blackberry, or blackberry syrup, you have 22% of blackberry juice and you have 22% of fruit juice, which is lemon juice, elderberry juice, just to enhance the flavor of blackberry. The goal in Monin is when you close your eyes, you open the bottle, you smell, you get the flavor. Okay? Like David was explaining yesterday, I mean the most important sense when you drink actually is the smell. It's not the taste. The taste is important, but the thing is, make this experience, you take some salt at home, you close your nose, you put some salt on your tongue, you won't feel anything. Release your finger, you get all the salt flavor, because it's, and also, for example, when we drink a cocktail or a spirit, I mean, you take it into your mouth, you swallow, and after you breathe, and you get all the flavor coming after, okay? I don't know, in French it's retro olfaction, I don't know in English. Okay, so about the new launch. Unfortunately, I don't have the green tea, so we are launching green tea. Green tea is not a syrup, okay? When you will get it, I mean, once you open it, keep it in the fridge, okay? So it's not a syrup because the level of the sugar is not high enough for French regulation to call it syrup, okay? You need 650 grams of sugar per liter to call it syrup. This is 136 grams, so it's really low. It's why we launch, actually, when you see those three flavors, it's we are launching this kind of product to stick to the trend, okay? So why about the trend? Trend actually, green tea, because people want something light, something refreshing, okay? Iced tea, because you can drink them, and lemonade, you can drink them for the morning until the evening. So it's really, really popular. And also the main thing is you can also, I mean, flavor it, customize it. Green tea goes well with ginger, mango, hibiscus, and lemongrass. After you can do other flavor, but this one. After, I would say, acerola. Why acerola? Because you saw on the map that we have different factories, and the one in France is also in charge of Brazil. Okay, and all the Brazilian bartenders, they ask us about acerola. So acerola, it's a cherry from Barbados, okay? But I would say it's like a kind of a sour cherry, okay? Speaking about the fruit, it's 10 times contain vitamin C than orange juice, okay? So it's really what we call superfood, like goji berry, acai, pomegranate, all this kind of thing. And speaking about bartender, in the taste profile is not as sweet as the other syrup. I mean the sensation. It's like pomegranate and cranberry. You have like an hibiscus. You have like a tart feeling. Okay, so it's really nice to combine with strawberry, for example. Okay, and because people like to be surprised and to live an adventure when they come to see you. Adventure about the flavor. That's the reason why also we launched pink peppercorn. Okay, so. When I'm traveling a lot, and when I go in different countries, I like to go to the supermarket, local supermarket, because you see what local people are eating. Okay? For example, when a big brand like Danone yogurt is launching a combination of pear and apricot, you know that people from the country, they will love the combination pear and apricot. Okay? So I go to the supermarket to see the yogurt, the shampoo. Okay, strange, but it's just about, because last time I saw basil and apricot, so it could be a nice combination. Also, and after I go to chocolate bar, okay? Before, you used to have hazelnut, you used to have coconut, you used to have mint, I mean regular flavor. Now you start to see chili, lime, sesame, and pink peppercorn. So you know when you're a barista, you can flavor your hot chocolate with pink peppercorn. Okay, not too much because it's quite strong. And after, in terms of bartender, it's nice to meet with fresh basil, strawberry, and after vodka and lemon to balance. But this you can come to the booth to taste it. Okay. Just one thing about when we speak about spice syrup, spice now, because spice are getting more and more popular, you have two kinds of spice. You have the hot spice, like the chili, when you drink, you burn your mouth. And after you have the spice like the cinnamon and some kind of pepper, which are bring you, emotion. Okay? Okay, so this is, the last baby, the new baby of the range Le Fruit de Monin. I'm really happy to have it because I've been asking for quite a long time. So why we launch Le Fruit de Monin Père, poire, and especially it's a Poire William, which is one of, I would say you have Guyot, Conférence, and William. William is the most well-known in France, especially because people in the countryside, they do alcohol. Okay, so why? Because in a pastry world in France, it's the first flavor, okay, about fruit. Because it was missing in the range, and because it's really powering in terms of strength. You will taste it after, it's really strong. And also, it's from the orchard family. And stability of the fresh fruit, for example, when you cut a pear, after 10 seconds it gets brown. So it's not easy to handle. So to make the life of the bartender much more easy, that's the reason why we launch pear. What can it bring to the cocktail? It will bring, roundness, smoothness, fruity flavor, which is nice. And after texture, because when you eat a pear, you have like some grain. Okay, so you feel almost the same thing because you have pear inside by using Le Fruit de Monin, and of course pleasure. Application, any kind of classical spirit creation. Free spirit cocktail, which is non-alcoholic cocktail. I put hot beverage because the thing is how to get inspiration to create your drinks. Okay, most of the time you can read cookbook. Okay, because when you have flavor association in cookbook, for example, pear and cardamom, you can do it into your cocktail. Okay, one of the most famous dessert in France is Poire Belle Hélène. It's pear and hot chocolate. So you can do chocolate. So you can do hot chocolate flavor with pear, with whipped cream and almond on the top to recreate the dessert. And of course, topping and pastry application. How to combine? So you can easily combine with other orchard fruit like apricot, green apple, like everything that you can find in your garden. Spice, because it's combined well, we will see it after with cinnamon and pepper. Herbs like basil, flower, also we'll see it with elderflower, and rose also. Okay, in terms of trendy product, what is trendy at the moment? So you have all the spirits, speaking about spirit, all the things that are coming from, I would say, Central America and South America, like mezcal, pisco, tequila, which are really booming at the moment. In terms of product for bartender, I would say aquafaba. So aquafaba, it's the juice of the chickpea. Know this? So you get, when you buy it into a can, you get the juice, and after you can use it as an egg white. Okay? Bartenders are using it because sometimes some customers are allergic to egg white. So that's the reason why they use aquafaba, and you get the same result. Super sour, it's actually the black bottle that you have close to the pisco. It's something, it's a citric solution. Just to replace, lemon juice. Okay, it's for example when bartender they want to make a clear sour, they are using super sour. It's just the beginning, so just to show you. And after Seed Lip is getting more and more popular. Actually, you have a booth here. But why is getting popular? I will show you after in the trend. Because non-alcoholic cocktails are getting more and more popular. And the last one, sorry, but it's cold brew. So cold brew is actually an infusion of coffee, but cold temperature. So you take your coffee bean that are coming from Burundi, Brazil, you choose your coffee bean, you grind them bigger than for espresso, because when you will put them into the filter, if you grind them like an espresso, it will get through the filter, okay? So bigger, you put some water and you put in fridge. You close your coffee shop, you come back the day after, open your fridge, get your cold brew, take off the filter, and the cold brew is ready. Okay, so it's easy, fast, it's cheap to realize also, and after you can use it. Most of the time, the baristas they will dilute it because it's really strong. The main thing it's, you can choose the origin of the coffee. It's less bitter than an espresso, and after some baristas also use it as energy drinks. Okay. Also, and after bartender, either they bottle it, either they use it like this. They can, flavor like old-fashioned, Negroni, all this kind of new cocktail with, for example, 2 to 4 centiliters of cold brew. Okay, so this is regular cold brew. Now, what we see also is nitro cold brew. Okay, it's like on a tap. It's just you have a cold brew base, and it goes into the machine, and in the machine you have CO2, and the CO2 is pushing the cold brew. It's not getting in. It's just pushing the cold brew through a small filter, and it makes the foam. When you have it on tap, it's like a Guinness. Okay. So this is actually quite nice. Up. So now, in terms of trends, I'm just going to focus on 2 different trends. So the first one that we see more and more actually is, I would say, some people still call it mocktail, some people call it spirit-free cocktail. But because actually you have more and more people that are taking care about themselves, people who don't want to drink and drive. You have the ladies which are pregnant, so they don't want alcoholic cocktail, but they want something with flavor. 10 years ago, when you ask for a non-alcoholic cocktail, you just get orange juice, grapefruit juice, grenadine, that's it. But now, people, because sometimes the price is less than the cocktail, but it's high enough, they want something with flavor, okay? So that's the reason why you have, you can, I would say, I put virgin. Virgin is actually a cocktail without alcohol, but which is linked to an alcoholic cocktail, okay? So I recreate what we call, dark and stormy. The original recipe of actually dark and stormy, it's rum, lime, and falernum. Up, and after it just stop with ginger beer, sorry. Okay. So just one thing also, speaking about the concentrate, I introduced you about lemonade mix, but also we have lime rancho and lemon rancho, okay? You don't have any sugar, only the natural sugar, which is already in the fruit, okay? Once you open it, keep it in the fridge, okay? So it will be served, I would say I took a tiki cocktail glass, so I'm just going to fill it up with ice. Then I'm going to place 1 cl of rum flavor. So here we are really on the woody part of the rum and the vanilla flavor. Okay, so I'm just going to add 1 cl because I want the rum flavor. Up. Then I'm going to add the spiciness by using falernum. So 2 cl. Up. And after to balance the sweetness, I'm going to use rancho lime. Up. One more. Up. Okay, this is actually when you have a big volume by using, lime or lemon. This is, really easy product because when you buy 1 kg of lime, you never know how much juice that you are going to get from the fruit. Okay, this when you buy a 70 cl of lime, you know exactly what you have in the bottle. Okay, then after you just top with ginger beer. After, what you can do also, it's you can ask to your customer, would you prefer ginger beer or ginger ale? Ginger ale is more soft, okay? Ginger beer quite strong on ginger, so some people might be a bit surprised. Up. And after you can actually add garnish. So what we see more and more up in coffee shop and bars, actually is this kind of dry garnish, because it's easy to handle. You make them and you can keep them. Also because, up like this, up. For example, in coffee shop we see them more and more for a hot lemonade, which is a winter drink. It's based on lemon. It could be based also on falernum, and after with hot water. and after it's just to put, I mean, the frozen fruit or dry garnish. Okay, so easy. So now you have, I would say, non-spirit cocktail with only 4 ingredients, and actually it's really nice. Don't have straw. Okay. Okay, but you are more than welcome to come to the booth if you want to taste it. Okay, so the second one I would like to show you now. It's lemonade. Why lemonade? Because it's as popular as iced tea. You can drink them from the morning to the end of the day. Also because I would say winter lemonade. What do we call winter lemonade? Actually, it's lemonade, but with a winter flavor, like spice, like something really warm. For example, for summer, I will go much more on strawberry, passion fruit, or cucumber, something, or herb, something refreshing. But winter, something warmy. Some with combination of spice. So for this, I'm going to use pear. So I'm going to use 2 cl of pear. Then I'm going to bring some spice on the pear, which is because most of the time the one that we see actually is apple and cinnamon. But actually, I mean, pear is really nice to combine with cinnamon to bring you this hint of spice. So here I'm using a jigger. If you want a faster version, you can add some pump on the bottle. Then I'm going to add some ice. Then I'm going to balance with some lemon. Because why winter lemonade? Because it's not because it's winter and it's cold that you really want a hot drinks. Because sometimes if you get to mall, I mean to shopping center, I mean it's hot, it's winter outside, but you don't want to drink hot chocolate because it's too hot. But you want something, I mean, really nice and refreshing. So this could be a nice option. And after to make it more lively, more fizzy, you just finish with soda. And after stir. After you can add, I would say dry garnish, but also if you have pear. And because you have cinnamon inside, you can also add 1 cinnamon. So this could be a lemonade that you can not necessarily hot, but you can serve into winter. Okay, so the second trend that I wanted to show you, actually, I mean, David Rios opened the door yesterday, and he was speaking about, I mean, low LBV cocktail. What is a low LBV cocktail? It's either, I mean, less spirit alcohol in the drink, so it could be instead of 4 cl, I mean, only 2 cl. Also, David showed yesterday that spirits that have a lower alcohol level, I mean, not to 40, 47, but much more to 33, 38 degrees. But what we see more and more, actually, it's aperitif, so it could be based on vermouth, it could be based on bitter, liquor like limoncello, Midori, Saint-Germain, all this kind of liquor. But most of the time also, it could be based on wine, especially if you are walking to a restaurant because you have wine in the fridge or in the cellar. So that's the product that you are going to use first. So it can be, most of the time it's white wine or rosé. There is 2 years ago, there was a trend coming from US, they call frosé. So it's rosé and frozen drinks. So in the blender, they put the rosé, strawberry puree, blend with ice, and you make like a sorbet, you know, like an ice cream, and serve into a big wine glass. So it was, I would say, 70% of ice cube, so it was cheap and easy to make, and easy to flavor. Okay, and the last one would be, I would say, would be based on a sparkling wine that we all know, Aperol Spritz. And Spritz, actually the beginning, Spritz was just a combination of white wine and soda. Okay, this is the original Spritz. After, bartender start to flavor it with elderflower, lavender, violet, and after Aperol took over, and he called it Aperol Spritz. And also can be based on cider and beer. Okay, so all you see, it's actually a low alcohol product. And just one thing, it's you start to see some books, I mean, coming about this trend, like you call it Shim, I mean, but it's still a low alcohol cocktail. Okay, so the first I wanted to show you, it's also because it's two trends in one, actually, because it's a coming back of old products like Chartreuse, like Absinthe, all this kind of product. Of course, Absinthe, I'm going to use only 2CL because most of the time Absinthe is really high proof product. But why it's coming back is because you have this legend, I mean, not this legend, but the fact that people at the time of Toulouse-Lautrec in Paris, when they were drinking Absinthe, they were going really, really crazy. It was because actually, at this time, in Absinthe, you have a root called Cuyotte, and that was blowing your mind, okay? So, I'm just going to take a tumbler. So as I'm going to work, I would say, on herbal flavor, I want something nice and refreshing. So I'm going to use 2CL of cucumber to make it fresh and summery. Then, to balance the sweetness, I'm going to use 2CL of lemon juice. Actually, you see, this recipe, if you take off the absinthe, you can use it as a non-alcoholic recipe. This is also a goal that we have in Monin, is to show you recipe that can be on non-alcoholic, and you just add alcohol. I mean, for you have the same product for two recipes, which is easy and convenient. After, I'm going to add 2CL of absinthe. Yeah, only 2CL, because it's actually strong into flavor, but also in terms of alcohol. You have this anise flavor also, which is coming through. Then I'm going to add ice. Then this morning at the breakfast, I just infused some fresh thyme, like this, coming from Portugal, so it's local. So I'm going to add 8CL of thyme. So for the infusion, I just took the herb and put it 3 minutes. It's like tea, huh? No more than 3 minutes, because after you have all the bitterness which is coming. So this is 8. I'm going to stir to mix all the product together. And after you can choose either to top it with, soda, tonic, ginger ale, whatever you wish. I choose soda because it's fizzy, so it makes it more lively into the customer mouth. After, of course, you can add, a tagliatelle cucumber like you have on the picture. Here I'm going to, get some thyme. Just to garnish, and to make it fresh also. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to add 1 lime like this. And after, I just take a twist, and I just spray it over, the glass. Why? Because you have all the essence in the twist, okay? You have more flavor in the skin than in the juice, okay? For example, try one day when you blend a drink, for example, a frozen margarita, just add a little piece, half of the, just in the blender, a piece like this of lime, okay? It will bring a lot of freshness into your drinks, okay? And also, I mean, the goal is, because, I mean, the customer will use a non-plastic straw, I mean, to drink. So once you, I mean, you bang the herb on the glass, and after you just squeeze, I mean, the skin, it will get on the nose all the flavor from the herb and from the skin, all the freshness, and in the mouth, it will get the flavor of the cocktail, okay? I like to do it to make a cocktail with pink grapefruit, and just to spring basil, because it's different flavor, and it's nice combination. Okay, so this is, I would say, the first low alcoholic based recipe. The one also I wanted to show you is actually because, I mean, vermouth are getting more and more popular, so what I'm going to use a big wine glass, okay? Why to use a big wine glass? It's because of, I mean, many years ago in Spain, gin and tonic were served into tumbler. But after, a few years ago, they moved into big wine glass. Why? Because they put a lot of ice, so the customer thinks, I've got more to drink, okay? Because, I mean, the opening of the glass is bigger, so when you smell, you get more aroma. Because what the Spanish did, they did regular gin and tonic with different kind of gin, like gin sul, for example, to bring all this Portuguese spice flavor. And after they put like dry garnish or fruit inside, I mean, to make it even more flavor. So that's the reason why you have this nice flavor. And also because as it's hot in Spain, when you get it like this, you can feel the coolness of the drink, okay? So for example, if in the middle of the summer you go to Faro and you ask for a gin sul tonic, you will cool yourself like this, okay? If, for example, I would say in London, in the middle of winter, it's really cold, you will take a latte and you warm yourself like this, okay? It also belongs to the 5 cents for a cocktail or a latte, okay? I mean, one of the first scents is the touch, after is the garnish for the visual, after is the smell. So vision, smell, touch, and after the last one, actually the hear, the sound, it's actually when you are going to cheers, okay? When you are going to cheers, I mean, in your mind is going to send you a message, you are going to drink something good, okay? I had a friend, he used to work in the Plaza Athénée. Plaza Athénée is a 5-star hotel in Paris, okay? He they open the bar at 5 o'clock. So he started to get his service at 5 o'clock. They open the bar, 5-star hotel in Paris. It was packed in 5 seconds. The bar was packed. His head bartender was saying, the first bottle of champagne you open, you make a lot of noise. Boom, like this. And everybody, oh yes, I want champagne. It's how to drive your customer. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use a wine glass. Okay, this one, I would say this is a suggestion of flavor. I'm using mango. You can use different kind of flavor that you wish, depending on what you want to create, okay? So, I'm using 2 cl of mango syrup. Then, to make it more up, one Portuguese tangerine juice, just to bring some citrus flavor and some sun from the Portugal. Okay. This also you can customize from the season. I would say for spring it would be what we see also in the bar now. It's more and more bartenders are looking for flower. Okay, flower flavor. It could be into liqueur or syrup. Up. After it would be more exotic fruit in summer and more spice for winter. Okay, so just up. Then I'm going to add the base, which is going to be, Lillet. Lillet is a French aperitif, which is made into the area of Bordeaux. Okay, so you have white, rosé, and red. Okay, so this one is more sold, I would say. In bars, it's the white, and you have orange skin flavor and different kind of spice also. Now I'm going to add 4 cl of Lillet. After, up, you can add some little kumquat inside or orange skin. Like this. And after you can top just with a tonic. So you can top with actually, I would say soda, tonic, any kind of mixer that you want to finish. And after you can just garnish. Up. Up. You can take some sizzle also up to easily decorate the skin. Up. So I was searching because I had a little clip that you can clip actually the skin on the side of the glass. Up. You can put some fresh herb like this. Up. And also, what I would like to show you, it's more and more important to do, I would say nice drink. Because now, today, we are into, I would say, Instagram, generation, okay? So when you give a nice drink, people will go, I am in this bar, so it's free advert for you, so it's okay. And also, it makes a community, and it makes nice advert, okay? So this is, I would say, vermouth, a wine-based cocktail. And now the last one. I would say it's really because I wanted to show you, le fruit de mon impair, and also something much more spring, because now spring and almost summer is here, and because bartenders are looking for flower, just a nice combination which is pear and elderflower. If you come to the booth, we're doing a gin soul fizz, flavor with pear and elderflower, which is really nice. So still a big wine glass. But this time I'm going to use Prosecco or sparkling wine. I'm going to 2 cl of pear. After, I'm going to use elderflower. So I should not say that because my boss is going to kill me, but we have some flavor in Monin, like elderflower, bubblegum, which are really, really strong. So take care when you are using them. Here, I'm just going to use a bar spoon because 1 cl is too much, okay? Because I want the flavor of elderflower, but I don't want just the flavor of elderflower. I don't want this product to be overpowering, okay? So I'm just going to put 1 bar spoon of elderflower, mix. Then, after you can just add Prosecco and soda. But if you want to make it a bit more premium, I would say, I'm going to do, like we had 4 years ago, we had a Hugo cocktail, which was really, really popular, elderflower, mint, lime, and Prosecco soda. Why it was really popular? It's like Mojito, because you have a really refreshing base, lemon and lime, okay? Low in alcohol, because it was based on wine, and easy to drink. So I'm just going to take half of lime. Take 1/4, and 1/4 you just cut it in 2, and you what we call you squeeze and drop. You squeeze up and you drop. After you're going to bang some mint leaves inside. You don't need to muddle, just to extract the flavor. And actually, when the customer is going to stir, see, same thing. It's because to get the oil from the mint. And now you just top with a Prosecco. Okay, just put your finger here. Okay, when you open Prosecco or when you open champagne, you hold the bottle like this. Okay, never open like this. Okay, because even if it's not really cold, I mean, it won't blow like this. Okay, so you just put your thumb, open like this. Up, keep it. Up. So after, just pour a little bit, then stir. In this case, when you stir, you just smash the mint in the same time. Okay, like the Spanish do. Up. To avoid to break the bubble. And after you just finish with the soda. After up, place nice mint leaf up, even if you have some physalis. Up. So nice, refreshing, summery. Up, easy to make. You don't need any shaker, anything. So it's quite easy. Okay. So actually, because I finished the presentation, I hope you enjoyed it. I invite you to come to the booth. I mean, we have almost all the flavors, so you can taste different drinks and see the opportunity. One more time, we are here to bring you, I mean, all the flavor that you need. Okay, you have George and Claudio in Portugal. It's really a pleasure to participate to the creativity of the professional, could be bartender or barista. You can find me on Facebook. I mean, for those who have Facebook. I know now Facebook is for all people. Now you Instagram. Ok, so muito obrigado. Okay. Obrigado.